What is up, guys? Welcome to the Work Toward Wonder podcast. Today I have Ashley Franck with us, and we are super excited. So let's get into it. All right, Ashley, my first question for you is, what does wonder mean to you?
Wonder, I think it means, for me, means to be completely in awe of something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that's so beautiful it takes your breath away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's just so, like, anytime I think of wonder, I just think of, like, everything God. Like, It's hard. Like, even when I look outside and the birds and I'm, like, in the trees, I'm like, wow. Just, it's amazing how, like, He spoke it into existence. And that's just, like, wonder is wild. So anyway, guys, this is Ashley, like I said before, but today we're just going to talk a little bit about her testimony and what God has done in her life. So first, Ashley, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Ashley. I am a wife and mother of 3 boys. I am the middle school teacher at a hybrid homeschool. I love reading. I love baking cookies. I think that's about it.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, today, like I said, we're going to dive into our testimony. So do you just kind of want to, let's like get straight into it. So I saw Ashley had this post about her son that she had posted, and it just like, I was in awe, like, of the way that God has totally just shifted your life around. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have her on the podcast. Like, there's no way I can't not have her on the podcast. And so here we are finally. It took us a little bit to get dates worked out, but back in August, she made a post. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So the post was about a picture that April had snapped during worship. And I was standing with my son, and we were both worshiping, and he was worshiping freely. And it brought me to a place of just complete gratitude of where God had taken me and where I am today, and how as a little girl, I didn't understand what it was to necessarily worship openly and freely. And I didn't understand how big and great God was. Yeah. And I was in this place of complete and utter darkness and chaos. And to have my child just be so open and loving and feel so free to put his hands in the air and be brave enough in his faith, or strong enough in his faith to not care who was around, to see that it filled me with such gratitude, and to have him do it next to me and with me meant the world to me.
Yeah, I love that. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood, like what you grew up in, how you grew up, and kind of what it looked like?
Yes. So growing up, I grew up in a house full of addiction. My mother was an addict. My father was not in the picture. He was out of my life, I think I was 2. He never pursued us. There was one time, I think I was in elementary school, and we had finally found a way to contact him, and he told me to never contact him again. So he was just never there, never part of it, never a thought. But because of my mother's addiction, it put us in very dangerous situations. For as long as I can remember, I went from just this little girl, a 3-4-year-old girl, and being happy and not kind of understanding yet the severity of our situation. And then my mom got so deep into her addiction, she ran away from our family. She took us and she ran. And she had a few divorces, and she had my brother from a different marriage. And so it's myself, my sister, and my brother. And after she had my brother, she had experienced a stillborn birth. And that took her in the deepest part of her addiction, I believe. And then it just spiraled from there. So we were in and out of homes, women's shelters, women and children's shelters. We understood what it was like to actually be hungry and not have food, and open the fridge and not have anything in there. She had a longtime boyfriend that was incredibly abusive, mostly to my mother. If we got in the way, then that's when the abuse was led on to us. He was so abusive at times that we weren't sure what the outcome would be, if there would be life at the end of that fight. There were moments where we were completely homeless because the the little income that they did make went to fuel their addiction, unfortunately. And so I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade and we found ourselves in an abandoned boatyard and living on a boat without electricity or power or food or anything. The clothes on our back basically was about all we had. From that boat, we had moved to a house that was like 2 streets away from it, so we passed by it all the time. But I remember the fights there being so bad and so dark that my sister and my brother and I started to flee the house because of how violent they would get, that we would remove ourselves. My sister and I would take our brother, and we were hiding in sewage drains that led out to the bay and crawling as deep as we could into them, because the further we got, that means the further away from the violence that we were. And I continued with this longtime boyfriend for a very long time. We suffered every abuse you can imagine on some sort of spectrum or form of it. And when she finally left this abusive relationship, she moved straight in with another gentleman, and things got better, if you will, because there was no more of this, are we going to live to see the next day type of situation. It was more stable from that, so it felt better. But it was still, when are we going to find our next meal? When are school's coming? Am I going to have clothes to wear to school? Am I going to have supplies? Sometimes our meals were the ones we got at school. So it just transpired all throughout my childhood and into my teen years and until I left my home. My mom, unfortunately, never recovered from addiction. We lost her maybe 2 years ago to her addiction. So it was all I knew growing up.
Can you kind of tell me like how your view of God was like in the middle of all this chaos and pain, and kind of when you first met him?
So my grandmother and my abuela were huge women of Christ, the best example, and the biggest blessing in our lives, because we got to spend summers at my grandma's house. So it was our safe haven. And my grandma and my abuela would just pour into us, and they loved us so much, and they constantly reminded us of how much God loved us and taught us about Jesus. And my abuela would take us to these Catholic Spanish services, and I had no idea what was going on or what they were saying, but I just knew that it was good and it was safe and it was a place full of love. And so I started to view him from their perspective, I guess you will. If they loved him so much and they loved me so deeply, then his love has to be similar.
I love that. That's so amazing. Like the way that earthly people can exhibit the love of God, and it just reminds me like this is what we need to be for people too, because you never know the people that you run into, or the people that are in your family, what they're going through. But if we can show the love of Christ, it can radically change the course of your life. Like
if it wasn't for them, he would have found me, but I don't know when or where. And he through them, I found him. And there's several moments in my life growing up where he used people to get to me. You know, the food left miraculously on our doorstep for us to eat for Thanksgiving, or just because we needed food. Someone felt his pull and they answered.
I love that. In your post, you talked about how for years you had like prayed for your parents to come to church with you and to do things with you. And you said that once you were married, you prayed at the altar together and you worshiped and thanked God for what he was doing. But not even a week later, your brother was left abandoned and alone again. And can you kind of walk us through like what that felt like to see God and like answer prayer and thinking everything is going to change, and then just like right back into the way it was? How did you handle that?
I think the only reason why I could handle it is because I saw him move. I knew it wasn't anything to discredit him and his great love. they ran from him
Yeah.
when he was chasing after them.
Yeah.
I saw him meet them there at the altar. I prayed with my stepdad at the time and watched him sob and ask for forgiveness and give his life to Christ.
Yeah.
I saw him answering all of my prayers. Like I witnessed it. I
Yeah.
felt it. I was in the room. And to see them run from him was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it also brought me closer to him because he did it.
Yeah.
He answered my prayers.
Yeah.
They chose to run.
Mm.
So
That's good. Like I think the hardest thing is to understand that God will answer your prayers, but as humans, that the people have free will.
yes.
And so, yes, God hears you and he's answering you and you're praying for these people to meet Jesus and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's their free will and God is going to chase after them. Like the Bible says, he stands at the door and knocks, but he's not, God is a gentleman. He's not going to force himself in. And so we just pray and agree that God's going to change and he will show up. But unfortunately, sometimes part of it is that they don't choose him. And I feel like that's the biggest heartbreak of being in ministry and knowing Jesus is seeing the people who don't accept it and don't take it as it is. And that's, it's hard and it's heartbreaking to see it in your family like that. I can only imagine. And so, how did you allow God to just heal those pieces in your life? And what does it look like to know and believe that God is going to rebuild your story?
For me, it was quite literally step by step and day by day and piece by piece. And every piece that I gave him, he gave me strength to give him another one. Every step I took towards him, he gave me strength to take one more.
Yeah.
So he allowed me to take the time that I needed, and he was gentle with me and he was kind and he loved me through the heartbreak. And for me, it was like this big mess of shattered glass. And if I were to dive into it and put it back together more myself alone, then I was only going to do more damage and continue to hurt myself more. Yeah. But by allowing him the control to put it together and take his time with it and love me through the mess is the only way I was able to.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And I love how you said that it just took like one piece and then God gave you the strength to keep going. I feel like a lot of people think like, my life is too hard for him to handle. And the truth is like nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is impossible for him. And just like one step of surrender, he's going to take that and run with it. And for the people who are struggling, like it's gonna take time. And I feel like a lot of people just are like, well, everything's going to change in an instant. And yes, God can change everything in an instant. He can. And but the healing it takes, because we are human, it takes time. And so can you kind of talk about like what the surrender like truly looked like? What like day to day, like did your struggles come back and did your fear and your frustrations come back, and how did you put those to rest and keep pushing after God?
I think the struggles really came back when I would think I was getting to a certain point of healing, and then all of a sudden I'd come crashing back with, but this part is still broken, or not even realizing it until something would come up in my life, and then realize that I hadn't healed that piece maybe, and then bringing it back to him and just allowing myself that grace of it's not going to be overnight, and it's going to be years on in battle, and it's going to be something that I constantly work towards, and that's okay. And only by his mercy and grace am I able going to get there.
I feel like the hardest part of healing is like thinking that you have been healed, like you have got it all figured out, especially when it comes like to mental healing, and then falling back into that and thinking that like because I couldn't handle this that I'm not good enough, or thinking because I couldn't get over this that God doesn't love me. But like it happens when you go through hard things. Falling back into that, it's easy. It's so easy, and it's the easier step. But what's harder is handing it to God. And so I really like this question, but what were some of the hardest parts of healing, and what were some of like the most beautiful things that you got out of it?
The hardest parts of healing, I think, was one being understanding how young I was when these things happened to me, or how young I was when I experienced certain abuses, or just coming to the realization of how little I was.
Yeah.
I remember speaking with someone once and they said, do you understand how young you were to have been through that, or to have seen that or experienced that? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I was, I was 8 or 9. And they're like, no, but do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand that you were a child living as an adult, experiencing adult things?
Yeah.
And so for me, that was very hard, because then that put me in a place of returning to the fact that the people who were supposed to protect me and the people who were supposed to keep me safe did these things to me, or allowed these things to happen to me, and chose something or someone over me and my siblings. So that was difficult, but I think it was difficult because then I had to find forgiveness.
Yeah.
I had to forgive instead of continuing to be angry. In order to heal, I had to forgive them.
Yeah.
And I had to accept that they are human beings, and that they struggle, and that their own story brought them here. And I just was in the middle of it. And that didn't make them any less worthy of Christ's love and his forgiveness.
Good. Yeah.
So it was definitely, I think, the forgiveness part of it.
Yeah, it's hard to understand like how like forgiveness and healing go hand in hand, and it's hard to get the healing that you're seeking if you're not giving the forgiveness. And so healing is sometimes a two-way street. Like I need to forgive, and I need to give this to God, and so He can put my pieces back together. And so that's so beautiful. Did it take you a long time to be able to receive that, or to give that forgiveness, or was it kind of like an overnight thing?
No. I figured, but no, not at all. Yeah. I honestly, I have struggled almost my entire adult life with it. I can't say that I truly forgave my mother until I was in the hospital room with her 2 years ago. When I had gotten the call that I needed to come to New Orleans to act as her next of kin, because she had overdosed, and there was, they didn't see her being able to progress out of it. So I was traveling down to New Orleans, which we didn't even think we thought she was in Mississippi. So that's a whole different thing. But so I was traveling down there, and I was so angry. And I was praying to God, and I was like, why do I keep picking up her mess? Why am I the one that has to go down here and stand in the gap for my grandmother, and stand in the gap for my sister and my uncles? And why am I, like, I'm the child. She's the mother, and I already gave her to you. So why am I coming back into this? Like, I've done so much healing. I've come so far. And he straight up was just like, she's my child. And you are her child. And you need to honor your mother as I have called you to do. Serve her this one last time. So I went, and I was like, I'm not going to be happy about it, but I will go. And I got there, and I walked to her hospital room, and all I saw was my mom. I saw the mom that loved me when I was little, who tried to have these little moments. And I sat next to her, and I just felt the Holy Spirit there. And he's like, do you see? Do you see my daughter? Do you see my child? And how dare anyone look at her and see anything less than what I have called her, which is mine. So I think it was within that moment that I was truly able to see what he was trying to show me for so long. And I just, that was it. That was it for me. In that moment, I guess it was kind of like an almost instant thing that I thought I had gotten over and worked towards, but it took him opening my eyes to who she was and how much more she was than what the world had claimed her to be.
That's good.
And what they had labeled her as. It doesn't matter how far she had ran. It doesn't matter what dark pit she was in. She was always and would always be his.
Yeah, that's good.
If I am also his, then I am called to live like he does, and he forgave her.
Yeah.
So that was my job as well.
Yeah, that's so good. And just, I feel like the hardest thing is seeing people through the eyes of Christ. And like what you said, it was so beautiful. Like no matter what anyone labels you, labels someone else, labels the person you're struggling with, like whatever the world labels someone, it's not who they are. And in the end, it's who God says they are. And that was just so beautiful. And the way that God revealed that to you is like, we could all use a little bit of that revealing in our lives. Like, yes, this person may have hurt you and they may have done a lot of things, but just to truly see people through the love of God, and that will change the way that you love people and the way you pursue people and the way you forgive people. And so it's a really beautiful thing for sure. In your post, you also talked about that God set you apart to break curses and to heal generations. What does that mean to you personally, and how have you seen that play out in your family?
For me personally, I think he puts us all here, and he put me in my mother's womb for a certain time. And he put me here for the time to break those generational curses, to break the spirit of fear over my family, to break the spirit of anger and the spirit of Jezebel and all these multiple things that my mother struggled with and that I was exposed to and I grew up in. Because it wasn't just my mom who experienced these things, it was generational. And it just continued on. So for me, he took what was supposed to be used to continue to destroy, and he brought me out of it to raise up children who weren't going to live like that anymore. My boys have never been scared of their father. Have they been like, oh my goodness, I'm in so much trouble? Absolutely. But they have never been scared of him. They have never cowered in fear. And all I ever knew growing up was to fear men. To fear, to know, like, if a man is angry, he's going to get violent. And my children have no idea what that looks like. My children have no idea what hunger looks like. They have no idea what it's like to be cold or not have a home or a roof over their head. So by breaking those curses with my children, their children are never going to experience that. And then their children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. And from this point on, the devil has no claim over us and our lineage at all. So,
That's awesome. I love the song we sing on Sundays, Mighty Name of Jesus. But it's like, I draw a permanent boundary line. The enemy has no rights to come against me or my family. And that is like so beautiful. And I kind of want to speak to you guys a little bit. You are the breakthrough for your generational curse.
Absolutely.
Like you are. God has put you in this family, in this place, in this situation for a reason. And he has a perfect divine plan. And like Ashley, you can change a generation for thousands and thousands of years until Jesus comes back. Like your obedience and your grit to keep pushing, keep going, and to call on the name of Jesus and say that the enemy has no right over my family. He has no right over my future. He has no right over my now. And just to see that God can change anything. And so if your family struggles with addiction or alcohol or if your family struggles with anger or anything, like that's not who you are. Generational curses are real. Curses are real, but the power of God is stronger and bigger and greater than any hold the enemy may have on your life. And you can see this in her life, like, and it's so amazing to see. Like I've known Ashley and I never knew this until she posted that, and I was like, what a powerful story, just to see how God can literally flip your life around. And In your post, I love this quote you said. You said, because of his goodness, my children will grow up in a safe home. And what we kind of hit this, but what has God kind of taught you through motherhood, and what does that moment that your son and can worship freely now, what does that mean to you?
It means everything.
Yeah.
So I thought there's so many moments that God has come to me and he's shown me that his love is greater than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's come in again. He's like, oh, it's even better.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets better. It's deeper. It's more vast. It's wider. It's untouchable.
Yeah.
It's nothing that I don't know if we'll ever be able to fathom how deep his love is for us. And when I became a mother, and I just held my babies for the first time, and I looked at them and I thought, there's nothing on this earth that I wouldn't do for you.
Yeah.
There is nothing on this earth that could take you from my love.
Yeah.
It was just last night I was putting them to bed, and we had a rough day, and I looked at each one of my boys and I said, do you realize that there's nothing that you did today or that you did yesterday or that you did tomorrow or you might do next week that could take my love from you? Mm-hmm. Nothing will take my love from you. Yeah. I love you so much. I love you just as much as I did the first time I held you. Yeah. And I love you that just as much today, and I'll love you just as much tomorrow and in the future. And there's nothing that can separate that love from you. Yeah. And through my motherhood, I've realized that's his love for us. He's loved me from the moment he decided to put me in my mother's womb. Yeah. And he's loved me when I didn't think anyone else did. And he's loved me when I thought I was unworthy. And he has loved me on the days that I was worthy. And he's loved me through, when I've fallen and when I've gotten back up. And there's nothing that will ever separate me from his love. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's like the Bible calls it agape love. Like we cannot understand the type of love it is. And just the love of God leaves me in awe and wonder every single day. Just knowing that no matter how far I've run, how far I've fallen, it doesn't change. No matter how many good things I've done, it doesn't change. It's like it's always at peak. Like it never falls, and it stays at the top, and that's just so amazing. Another thing in your life that I look to is the way how prayer has been such a huge part of your story. So can you kind of talk about how prayer was a part of your story, how it is now, and how you've seen God work in your prayer?
Yes. So you had asked me about surrender, and part of that comes through my prayer. When I had first started going to church by myself, well, first of all, I was introduced to church by a friend of mine in middle school, Sarah Richardson. We haven't talked in years, but she was the first person to take me to church other than my grandparents and got me involved in church. And that's where I learned to pray, other than from my abuela and seeing her at 4 a.m. every morning on her knees, but to just speak to him like his child. And when we moved away from that home and into our next, I had found a church, Destin Assembly of God, and I had started going to the youth group by myself, started going to Sundays by myself, and I prayed for the first time there to give my life to him, really give it to him. But there was a moment during that time, and I think I was probably 9th or 10th grade, and my mom and my stepdad at the time got in a really big blowout fight again, and it somehow had escalated into our room where my sister, my brother, and I were, and then out into the hallway at the top of the stairs. And I saw my mom just humbling on my stepdad, and he thrust his arms out, and when he did so, she went tumbling down the stairs. And at the end of the stairs, she was unmoving. So I remember going to the stairs, seeing him run down and touching her. And all he said was, she's not breathing. So I ran into my room, and back when you had cordless phones, you're not going to know what that is, but dragged it to the top of or cord phones, dragged it to the top of the stairs. And I called 911 and I said, my name is Ashley. This is where I live. My mother has fallen down the stairs. She's not breathing. We need help. And so she was trying to talk me through it and asking can someone check for a pulse? Can someone do this? And so in the midst of this, my stepdad started screaming, she's dead. She's dead. She's dead. She's dead. And it was this moment of just pure panic.
Yeah.
And I still had the phone to my ears, and I just started praying, dear God, if you just save her.
Yeah.
Please, Lord, save my mom. And you can have all of me.
Yeah.
Like all of me. My entire life is yours, and I know I've asked for forgiveness, but if you would just meet me right here, right now, I'm yours.
Yeah.
And it was like you hear of like the moments where like, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then it was just this overwhelming sense of like peace, because we're in pure panic. We're in chaos. My sister and brother are screaming and crying, and my stepdad is losing his mind. And all of a sudden it was just like, and I don't know if it was the lady on the phone. It might have been God, but it was likely God. But he was like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
The paramedics come in. And I snap it, and I'm just there, and I'm present, and I'm filled with such peace amongst all of this that it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I continue to be able to talk with the lady on the phone, and they revived my mother right there, and she obviously continued to live on, but like he met me there in my surrender, in my prayer. So from that point on, I knew that like I could call on him in my darkest moments, in my lightest moments, in the beautiful times, in the darkest times. And he was my lifeline.
Yeah.
If I needed him, I could pray and I could reach out to him, and he was going to be there.
Yeah.
He didn't always answer as immediately as he did then, but I could remind myself of the times that he did and the times that he moved, and he did it quickly. And then the other times I had to be patient because his timing was better than mine.
Yeah.
So prayer was always a lifeline for me.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And there's a few things I want to point out. The first one is the fact that you went to church and went to youth group by yourself. That is like huge. You don't hear of that these days, of kids taking their faith like as their own. So one part of changing a generation is taking it on your taking your own faith on your shoulders and be like, I'm gonna do this. And I actually made a video about this today and posted on TikTok, but I had a realization that a lot of times when bad things happen to us, we often like go straight to someone to pray and go straight and ask for prayer and stuff like that, which is great. But there's moments like where you're at where all you have is you and faith. Like all you have is yourself and God. And the ability for you at such a young age to have such a strong relationship with God is so beautiful. And like you being able to encourage yourself and to pray and to press into God and doing that all in the midst of chaos, like that is so beautiful. And it's such a great reminder that with God, peace is yours. Like it is not in the midst of chaos, in the midst of craziness, in the midst of pure panic, like peace is yours. And that's just something that like I want to change in my life, is being able to call on God and being able to make sure that my faith is 100% my own, and being able to that prayer was your first response. And I just think that is so beautiful. And I can you can see it in your life today how prayer has changed your life. And so that's absolutely beautiful. I have two more questions. So this one, what does the word like redemption, like what does it mean to you, and what does it look like in your life today?
Oh, the first thing that popped into my mind was is that I've won.
Yeah. Amen.
That I overcame this place that I didn't think I ever would once upon a time.
Yeah.
That I stood in the midst of this battle and continued to for so long. And it was a spiritual battle. It was a spiritual attack against me and my generation and my family and my mother. And I chose the right champion. And he And he worked it all out, and he pulled me out of that dark pit. And he stood next to me, and he stood next to me and in front of me and behind me. And he surrounded me every time I was attacked. And he stood, and he never left, and he stood by me, and he continued to. So for redemption for me was like the battle was over, and it's been won. And I can now just live in this place of peace and joy and happiness. And I can do it with my kids, and we can worship freely together, and we can pray together, and we can just continue to raise them to be these men of Christ that are going to do the same things for their families. And I guess just the battle has been won.
That's beautiful. And I think like on the other side of redemption, it's so beautiful, but the Bible has said that it is finished. When Jesus died on the cross, he said, "Tetelestai," it is finished. And in the midst of chaos and in the midst of pain, the fact that it has already been won seems impossible. The fact that God has already ordained your steps and already has worked your story out, and that everything's going to work for his good, it seems like it's not going to happen. And just I want to encourage you guys and see that through Ashley and through other stories that it is finished, and your problem has an expiration date, and there is a victory that has already been won. And you just run the race well. And at the end of the day, the Bible is the greatest redemption story you will ever see. How God sent his son from heaven to give his life and for us. And so that is the greatest redemption story. But then to see that he loves us so much that he redeems every story so perfectly, it's so beautiful. And just your redemption is on its way, and it's going to come, and it may seem impossible, and it may seem like it's never going to work out, but God always has a plan, and he will always work it out. And that is like so beautiful. So my last question is if you could speak to that 9-year-old version of yourself, and to people who are walking through chaos and pain right now, what would you tell them?
It's temporary. I would tell the 9-year-old me that it's temporary, and that this pain is not going to last forever. This suffering is not going to last forever, because like you said, the battle has already been won. We just have to cross the finish line. And I would tell the people that are still in that dark place, that maybe aren't coming out of it because they don't see themselves as worthy, because they think that their circumstances define them, because they think that where they came from defines them, because it doesn't. Because God uses all of us, and he has a purpose for all of us. And if he can choose Mary Magdalene, who was possessed by, I think it was 7 demons, and he can use her, and he can heal her and take her and bring her into his ministries and walk with her and love her, and then choose her to be the one that saw him when he first rose again, and like use Mary to go out and be the first person that says Jesus is alive. He took her and he redeemed her, and he redeemed her story. So if he can use her, and he can use me, and he can use the disciples, none of them were perfect, like if he can use all of these people, then he can use you. And he didn't come here for the righteous. He didn't come here for perfection, because nobody's perfect. He came here because he was perfect, and he needed us. And he came here for me, and for my mom, and for my brother, and my sister, and for you, and for anyone else who's ever struggled. So if he can look at each and one of us and say that you're worthy because I called you worthy, not because anything we could do could make us worthy, but because he called us worthy, then we can all do that, and we can all give our lives to him. And if we just surrender him with a pure heart and hand it over to him, he's going to work it all out. Period.
Amen. That's so good. You guys, your redemption is on its way. Your story isn't over. God is working it out, and his timing is perfect. And just surrendering that to him and giving him that control over your life, like he's going to do great and mighty things. And so we pray that this has changed your life and has changed your perspective to see that God is not neglecting you. He sees you when it's hard. He sees you when it feels like all hell is breaking loose. And he loves you and he cares for you and he has a perfect plan for you. And it's on its way. And so that is so beautiful, Ashley. Thank you so much. But to end the podcast, we'll end on a fun, upbeat fun note. So the first, I have like fun 5 get to know you questions. So the first one is, and it's kind of hard, is what is your favorite Christian song, worship song? Like what's your favorite?
Okay. So we sing it quite often. So you probably know the title of it.
Okay.
But it's If I Can Have Anything.
Okay, yeah. That's exactly what it's called. Okay. You guess that.
Yeah. That one is just, every time we sing it, I can't even, it brings me to my knees.
Yeah.
because that is what I want.
Yeah.
Like there was a time where all I had was a song. Yeah. All I had was a prayer. All I had was me.
Yeah.
And that was enough.
Yeah. And like, that's so amazing. I love that song. Like anytime we sing it, I'm like, holy cow. Like that is, my life is to be an offering to you. And sometimes my offering looks like speaking on stage and going and telling people about Jesus. And sometimes my offering looks like being on my knees and at the altar. And your offering can change and look different. But in the end, your offering is who you are. And so that's super beautiful. Guys, if you don't know, we have a Work Toward Wonder Spotify playlist. So all of our guests' favorite songs are on the list. So we are going to be adding Ashley's song. The next question is just a fun one, is what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, okay. I think that's harder than the other one.
Oh, no.
Because I love ice cream. Yeah. My first job was actually at an ice cream shop.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So anything chocolate.
Okay.
But if someone were to say, what could you eat right now? My go-to is the Andes triple chocolate.
Okay. I always get the straw Anna Andes, but
the triple, it is chocolate.
Yeah, it's just straight chocolate. I love that. That's so good. Okay, next question is, what is your go-to outfit?
This is so funny. I don't know if it's like a typical thing. I am a cozy girl.
Okay.
Like I don't do the straight legs. I am a cozy girl. So if I'm ever like, I don't know what I'm wearing today, I'm putting on my Levi overalls.
Okay.
And they are cozy.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing every time I take out of my
Dude, that's
closet.
awesome. I've just started falling in love with overalls. Like I bought a pair for my senior jeans. You like repaint them, and I was like, I love them. And I was like, so I bought the same exact pair, but didn't paint them. That's so funny. It's actually so funny because you always have the cutest outfits at church. I'm like, I gotta make sure I see Ashley today to see her outfit. I'm not kidding.
Hilarious. I've actually picked out a shirt because it was so colorful, and I was like, Gracyn, Brittany would wear this. So I am wearing it.
That's awesome. I think I know which one you're talking about. I mean, my mom, like, you'll ask my mom, like, anytime, like, oh my gosh, did you see Ashley's outfit? It was so cute. That's so funny.
That is funny.
Anyways, last question. So I guess 4, not 5. Anyways, is what is like a unique fact about you, just to kind of leave the viewers with?
I don't know if it's unique, but I am like easily excitable. Like I get excited about the most random. It doesn't matter if my kid's showing me like a rock, or if they're showing me this giant castle they made out of like cardboard. Like I am excited, or like playing card games or board games. It doesn't matter what the game is. Like I am in, and I am excited, and I am ready to go. If one of my friends is like, "Oh, I tried a new recipe," I'm like, "That's so cool!" Like it's or if they make a big lifetime achievement, like it's just as exciting to me as like
that's awesome.
I'm just easily excited.
No, that's really cool. Like the joy of the Lord like exudes out of you. So that's I love that. I love a person. I feel like sometimes today we've gotten so just like bleh. Like people are like, oh look what I did, and like cool, and I'm like, no, like be excited. Like I love an excited person. So that's so awesome.
Thanks.
Well guys, thank you so much for watching. It was so truly amazing just to see the redemption story that God had in Ashley's story, but to also get to see what God has for you. And so just believe that for your life. Don't allow any of the naysayers, any of the haters, any of your situation become more greater than your belief in what God can do in your life. So I just encourage you, keep pushing on. And if you need help or encouragement, please reach out, like, to local people around you. Comment down below, like, whatever you need. People are here for you, just like Ashley's grandma. People want Jesus. I want you to know Jesus. And so we are here for you. But if you guys haven't yet, please like and subscribe and check out our previous season 1. And we will see you guys next Wednesday. So bye, guys.